Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation.
Oh boy.
Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Hello. Sorry, a bit loud there. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after...
Honey, we're back.
Yes.
After 40 years of wandering in the desert.
It's been a bit.
It's been a minute since we recorded. It's been about a month.
But we are back, and...
now that Darth has returned from the brink of death.
Yes, well, come on.
I don't have my headphones in, so I'm not even sure what just
Oh, you don't have your headphones on?
Oh,
because you have your fireman's helmet on.
And you'll understand why in a few moments, hindsighters.
Yeah, we're watching Backdraft. No, we're not.
Rescue Me.
Yeah. Oh God, no, I wouldn't be here. No. Welcome back, everybody. It is very good to have you. We've been out for a while. Various people contracted various diseases.
Venereal and non-venereal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too many strippers, too little time.
Yeah, exactly. But we are back, and this is Hindsight is Horrifying, and we are going to be talking about what I consider to be sort of a overlooked gem of a movie.
Agreed.
Because I don't think a lot of people think about this movie.
Sadly, no, and it's fantastic.
It really is. Tell us what it is and what it's about, although I predict that your synopsis is not even going to come close.
This one does okay. Yeah. I pulled it off of the Google. But Hindsighters, this week we are discussing one of Darth's favorites, Pleasantville from 1998 with Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon. And the synopsis, as you mentioned, Jason, impressed by high school student David's, Tobey Maguire's devotion to a 1950s family TV show, a mysterious television repairman, Don Knotts, provides him with a means to escape into the black and white program with his sister Jennifer, Reese Witherspoon. While David initially takes to the simplistic, corny world of the show, Jennifer sets about jolting the characters with doses of reality that unexpectedly bring a little color into their drab existence.
A lot to say about that.
Oh, yes.
Is that it? That was the whole synopsis? Mm-hmm. I think let's talk a little bit about the movie before we get into the deep what does it mean stuff, because I've got a theory. Sort of as I was watching it, I kept thinking, this was written by somebody who probably was thinking in terms of is there a biblical reference? Is there some classic literature, theme in this? And
right,
I
because
think
temptation plays such a strong role in the gear shift in Pleasantville.
Yeah, it does. And I think, well, let's talk about the movie a little bit first, and then we'll get into the analysis of it.
Okay.
And why don't you turn your hat on?
Are we ready for this?
Now, Toby. Whoa! Can you hear that, Hindsight?
That could be useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That could be useful. You should wear that and drive
it's like
really
a rape
fast.
whistle.
Yeah.
A rape whistle.
I'm alone in a parking lot at night. Somebody starts following me. I just turn my hat on. No, I could walk into, a government office and be like, "Hey, can I get some welfare?" Just like this, indeed.
So Tobey Maguire.
This is my sister. She's retarded.
Tobey Maguire is 23 years old, by the way.
I actually wrote that down because in, the long-standing tradition of having people who are too old play high schoolers, Tobey Maguire isn't even the youngest of them. He's 23 about this time. Reese Witherspoon was 22, and Paul Walker was 25, as compared to Luke Perry, who played a teenager well into his mid-40s, I want to say. Rest in peace there. But
speaking
both of them.
Paul Walker, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not making fun of Paul Walker.
No, but you said rest in peace.
Luke
We were just
Perry.
pointing out that they're both,
Yes, rest in peace as well.
There's a couple
Paul
resting right now.
We're
in peace.
Don Knotts has been gone for quite a while.
2008, I think.
I thought it was 2006.
I could be. I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
The point of the movie, the plot of the movie is pretty straight, and this is what I meant by I didn't think that a synopsis would do it justice, because you could describe it very quickly.
Do tell.
You have two kids who are transported into a 50s TV show. What?
2006 is when Don Knotts died.
Mm-hmm. You win a cookie.
That's when I graduated from high school.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why he picked that date.
Yes.
So, yeah.
She was no longer watching his show, so he died.
Yeah. So the synopsis is that these two kids are put into a 50s TV show, and then havoc breaks out. Okay.
But at random. Like, the movie has almost accidental depth to it, the way that everything is set up. I feel like it could have been even more substantial if all of this had happened on purpose, because the synopsis makes it seem as though Don Knotts was scheming to find David specifically for a long time, when in fact he just sort of rambles up because he's the television repairman, and you think that he's got like these magical powers, which to an extent he does, but he doesn't even realize that David's a fan of Pleasantville until David like mentions the marathon, and he starts quizzing him on it. And
I think he was testing him.
No, he was.
He was
been
testing
a lot of people because he.
But he said there's a line though where he said when he talks about the remote control and like looking for
quick note.
Yeah.
No bra in the center, girl. I just had to bring that up. If you take a close
come on, the
look at it.
90s.
Darth
This
died a
is
little
yeah,
bit,
the
you know.
90s were the best.
Nothing.
Yeah, the 90s were the best fashion wise. I'm sorry.
That's the only reason why guys were into the Friends as a TV show. Jennifer Aniston went braless for about a decade there.
I was always on Team Monica.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Team Chandler all day long.
But no, I mean,
He never wore a bra.
I that's true. Well, as far as you know.
You know.
Yeah, I mean.
Good point. But anyway.
Yes. The movie, though, you say that it has sort of like accidental depth to it. I actually think that it's generally an extremely deep story. It's not a comedy.
I'm not saying it isn't deep.
You know.
I'm saying it's almost accidentally so. Because Don Knotts doesn't know who David is when he rolls up to his house. It's not like he has a list like Santa Claus of, oh, these people show promise, and then he finds a way to shoehorn his way into their existence. He happens upon them.
Yeah.
And so it's not really that he's questing for a specific person. He's just kind of hoping that somebody knows as much about Pleasantville as somebody like David does.
But it has to be some kind of divine intervention because they didn't even call him. He just showed up at that
as soon as the
door.
remote control broke.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't even call a TV repair. Well,
Yeah,
this
he's
is good luck
magical.
for both
There's
of us.
something,
Yeah, he's a magical
something
creature.
amazing
He's
about
devoid
him.
of magic. I'm just, whatever.
Well, it's a literary thing. It's sort of like is he, isn't he? He's the literary thing that the writer put in to make the story happen.
But my big question is, to what end? Because that's a question that never gets answered.
Well, see, that's why.
That's
Yes,
where you're going with this.
I agree with you. That's where I think there's a lot of interpretation. I think there's a.
Because there should be some payoff if he's been seeking this person for years and years and quizzing all these different people, and so many people
there is
have
payoff.
disappointed him. No, but he doesn't have like a specific mission. He's not, planting people in Pleasantville to achieve a specific goal that we're aware of.
Right.
He just keeps telling them that it's almost like a vacation. He's like, oh, this is a privilege to be here, and sure it is. You get a simpler time in life. You get a nice home-cooked breakfast and a pleasant family to live with every day. Great. But what was Don Knotts really attempting to achieve? Because it just so happens
I
that
know
he
exactly what he was. He was a fan of Ted Turner, and he was upset that Pleasantville wasn't colorized. So he was doing what he could to get more color into that show.
They should have gotten Ted Turner to play the Don Knotts role.
That would have been classic.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
I have a question. Why Tobey Maguire? He's 23. He's new in the business. He's not good looking. He doesn't have huge range. He's kind of.
Well, I agree.
Dissing my Spider-Man?
No, but that's I agree with you 100%. This movie, as I was watching it, there's Don Knotts.
I love
Quite the ladies' man.
Oh.
R.I.P.
But in this movie, I love Tobey Maguire. I loved him in this. I thought he reminded me of.
He does need to be casted well. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, he reminded me of. Oh God, who was the kid from Mystic Pizza?
Julia Roberts.
No.
I'm blanking too.
I can't remember. No, but Chris O'Donnell.
Oh yeah,
Chris O'Donnell.
Robin.
This role reminded me a lot of watching Chris O'Donnell in Scent of a Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Where if that had been it for Chris O'Donnell, I'd be able to say, yeah, I like Chris O'Donnell. He's a really good actor.
One-hit wonder, as it were.
Well,
I don't know. I think Tobey Maguire's a good actor. He's great in Wonder Boys. He was fantastic in The Cider House Rules.
He was really good in Wonder Boys.
I don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just when you look at him and you're casting tens of hundreds of people, right?
Yeah.
Usually Hollywood wants someone with a Paul Walker kind of look.
Paul Walker.
I know, but like a dashingly handsome individual.
So you would have cast, but the whole point is that David's like a nerdy outcast. You can't have Paul Walker playing that role.
No, I know.
So did you have somebody in mind that you would have cast in lieu of Tobey Maguire?
I probably could have played that role about then. I would have been.
Oh, that's where we're going.
I'd have been in my
That's where we're
in my
going.
mid-30s.
Reese Witherspoon.
Well, no, well, wait, they didn't.
They'd be on set together.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, he'd have the opportunity in between takes just because they're playing brother and sister. I mean,
Cut, Reese. May I kiss you?
No.
No.
Ew.
No. Anyway, that was just a hypothetical question. I do love Tobey Maguire. I think he's a great actor, but just what was it that jumped out at you?
I think the director saw something, and I think.
And he did well.
He did well. And the thing is, when this movie came out, there was no Tobey Maguire. So he gave a sort of Tobey Maguire-esque performance,
Yep.
Yeah, but, well, okay.
Which is so funny considering he came up with the likes of Leo DiCaprio, who's his best buddy in real life. And Leo DiCaprio is one of the biggest movie stars of all time now. And Tobey Maguire is a huge deal, don't get me wrong, especially in the Marvel universe where he's Spider-Man. But
he's got more memes, I think, than
Leo.
Leo's
got a substantial collection.
Well, he's got there's the Leo
on.
meme. There's the meme,
pointing at the television, spotting something meme. Yeah. The laughing meme from Django Unchained.
See, but he's got the dancing meme, and that's great.
Yeah,
that's
sort of like
the sort of that dance. I can't do it because I can't.
Well, now
dance.
he even has like a dubbed over song from Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh,
it's fantastic. I've danced to it like 40 times.
Now here we go. Okay, so
the
two characters that we're going to be spending a lot of time with, Jen and David. Now they are brother and sister in real life, and they're about to leap into this world. Pleasantville. Now here's the thing. I think the movie tries to almost mislead you on one thing. Because there's a scene in the movie where as the characters begin bringing about real human feelings and human life in this sort of, prototype world, at one point there's a girl who gives him an apple, and it's this very Adam and Eve sort of moment. And I feel like that's almost like a misdirect.
And that is actually after the rose that's red first.
That's way down with the apple.
Both of them happen, so it's still biblical imagery going on in the movie, but the rose, like the Garden of Eden.
But that girl is not Eve. That girl is not Eve.
No.
In the movie, Jen, Reese Witherspoon's character, in my opinion, is Lucifer. Okay?
Okay.
Well, who is Lucifer? Lucifer means light giver, light bringer.
That's right. Yep.
And it was all about bringing this forbidden knowledge into this perfect Eden.
Yeah, she's the one who enlightens everybody. You're correct.
Yeah, but I don't.
Them all sorts of things.
So if she's Lucifer, David is God.
Yeah, because he's trying to preserve the world as is, and the thing is, it's important to point out that David, who is shoehorned into being the character of Bud. And Jen becomes Mary Sue.
And they apparently obliterate those two humans.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so once again, to what end? Because it's basically like he eliminated Bud and Mary Sue.
Because he leaves.
Even David, so spoiler alert, hindsighters, for those of you who haven't seen this 1998 gem. So Bud comes back to reality at the end of the movie. Jen does not. And my question there is, she stays in Pleasantville because she actually becomes studious and has a chance to go to college in the Pleasantville universe. But does she ever plan to come back to reality in that case? Because those credits aren't going to transfer. My God.
I don't think she is ever going to come back. And if she does come back, it'd be, you would come back and realize, this.
Yeah, because she.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, but so if she's Lucifer, and she clearly is, in my opinion, Lucifer, because her whole thing is she's like throwing information in people's faces.
Okay.
She's
and calmly too. It's not like, ooh, let me tell you a secret.
She's stirring the pot.
She's doing it like she enjoys fucking with this perfect world, and she's like, this is terrible. They live this horrible sterile life.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's going, no, this is perfect. Don't change anything. But then as things go on, you end up with the actual world that we live in, which is exactly what happened with Eden, because Eden, well, it was perfect, but it sucked because, it was boring.
Right.
Humans left. We're in a world now where bad stuff happens, but it's our world. We can do what we want. We have free will and all that stuff. And so I don't know where Don Knotts fits into that analysis, if it's God and the devil going in to Eden.
Well, does that make the remote the apple? in a weird way?
No, no, because Lucifer's the one. The apple
it's
is.
all little...
She's the. I can tell you what the apple is.
Well,
Yeah.
more like the cherry in this case.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no,
because that
cherry-
changes every.
That cherry
Yeah.
left home a long time ago.
and that's not being sexist. She says that.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah,
I've
of
had
course.
sex tons of times.
Well, yeah, and even at the end where she resigns herself to staying in Pleasantville or whatever's outside of Pleasantville within the Pleasantville universe, she's like, I've done the slut thing. It got old.
Well, and that's the
But
other thing too.
they
When
even do,
sorry.
like at the soda shop, did you notice they keep ordering cherry Cokes specifically? So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But that's another point to bring up though is the fact that when they leave, what's the universe doing? It's expanding.
yeah, and to where? Where's it going?
To infinity and
And
beyond.
Where does our universe go as it expands?
Somebody get Neil on the phone. Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson. Somebody.
The answer is nowhere, because wherever the universe isn't, there's no space. So it can't expand into anything because nothing exists.
Damn.
So
Just
the
like
Pleasantville,
Pleasantville.
so the Pleasantville universe, as they leave, is slowly expanding. In space is actually being created.
That's so true. You're
Yeah.
right. It is like a little mini universe.
Welcome to our TED Talk on science.
yeah.
Fictional worlds.
Only the old ones in this universe, in the Pleasantville universe, the elders, the old ones, remember what it used to be like, and some of them know that you can change things with your mind.
Right.
So I figure a few of them will achieve immortality, and we could have literally a movie set in the Pleasantville universe plus 1,000 years.
We need
And
to
it
get
could be
Dr.
like
Strange up in
Dune.
here, combine the universes.
In fact, Dune and Pleasantville could be the same universe.
But meanwhile, getting back to the movie, poor Mary Sue, I never understood this. It was too minor a detail for it to really matter, but it always bugged me for some reason that Betty, their fictional mom in Pleasantville, only forced one of her children to eat breakfast. And it was her girl child. She feeds Mary Sue like half a farm animal first thing in the morning before going to school. She gives her like a pound of bacon, a bunch of sausage, fried eggs, and of course, a ham steak, because who doesn't start the day off with that much protein?
But even in Pleasantville, did they really serve breakfast that large?
Well, and
I didn't know why they
and
had to
then
do
not
that,
have
folks.
any sort of plumbing as far as bathrooms go.
Oh,
How
that's
is that
right.
possible?
They don't eliminate.
Oh.
So
They don't excrete waste, and yet they take in food. So how
Well, so
can that
we're-
be? Because you're eventually
It's
just
like
going
Star
to
Trek.
explode.
well, but here's the thing though. So for the first until things start going, color,
What you trying to say about color, Jane?
we're David and what's her name, Jennifer?
Jen.
Were David and Jen just going out behind the house and shitting? What were they doing until toilets came around? Because she specifically goes into a bathroom and
She
there's no
doesn't-
toilet.
She
No,
doesn't
that's
go
true.
to go to the bathroom though. She goes to kind of escape from Skip Martin. So
So
Paul
maybe
Walker's character, she goes in to get away from him when they're on their first date because he's so innocent and
that was the
pure.
first day, right?
That was their first date.
So she might have been peeing out fluid that she brought from our universe, and they may be able to eat all they
portal
want
may
to.
have just zapped it all
Yeah.
out of her system.
Or
Who
they
knows?
are in Pleasantville. Maybe they don't have that urge.
That's what.
that sensation.
But we're at a very important part, which will actually explain my costume tonight, hindsighter. So in Pleasantville,
Costume.
Costume.
prop.
Oh, I thought that was just a.
That's what you
thing you were
normally
doing.
wore.
Oh, I was
in the
applying for
evenings.
welfare earlier today. If you wear a specific helmet,
She's
they-
retarded.
Well, you're on crack, and we just thought it'd be a good plan. Anyway, so in the world of Pleasantville, nothing can even set on fire. So no flames in Pleasantville whatsoever. So what do the firemen do? What's their purpose, gentlemen? They rescue.
They rescue kitties. Oh,
Out of
look,
trees.
2 kitties. I must have one by me.
Yes. So
Thank you.
careful with my kitty.
Yeah, it's funny because the scene with the firefighters, which is a really good scene.
Especially later when there is an actual fire.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So here we have,
Paul Walker.
Yep, Martin.
So I guess Paul Walker might be like an Adam character.
Yeah, because she corrupts him first. 'Cause
Yeah.
David's
No,
technically-
actually, Paul Walker would be Eve then. Because Eve, the first one corrupted, the devil went after Eve.
That's true. So yeah, we're doing some gender swapping and all sorts of.
I'm telling you, there's actually
Biblical
you could write an entire bullshit PhD thesis on this movie.
I wish I was in college. When
I
this
bet
movie
you
came
could.
out.
Yeah, you
I
could just
would've written one.
you could do a whole thing and people would go, wow.
Well, and in a
Wow.
weird way, and I get that does make sense, Jason, because Eve was kind of the devil's toehold into the world and
Yeah.
getting his agenda started, and same thing with Jen. because the main reason she's upset about being planted in Pleasantville is because the dreamboat of her high school back in reality was supposed to come over and have sex with her while they were watching some sort of concert on MTV. Hence, well, that's why she and David were fighting over the remote to begin with.
It's so quaint.
Because remember the 90s?
Oh, I remember having sex to MTV. Oh.
Oh, nostalgia.
Oh.
Well, even, oh my God, their version of Nick at Night, what do they call it? TV Time? Their slogan was, remember, you're soaking in it. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
That smells fishy to me.
Don't they all? But anyway, no, but going back to the point about Lucifer and Jen, Paul walkers her toehold into Pleasantville because she does corrupt him, like you said. Yes. And that's how things, really.
Well, that's true. Paul Walker then, it's sort of like, because remember in the Bible, Eve gets the apple and was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to just spread this shit around.
Yeah, because he goes to the other basketball players and he's like, oh, I did this thing with Mary Sue at Lover's Lane last night. And he's spreading the word about.
There you go.
The tree of knowledge. You're right, Jason.
Any university deans who are watching this, you can go ahead and mail the PhDs. You could email it. Just just PDF or take a picture on the phone and then send that to us, and so we'll be doctors.
That's how I became a high priestess. So I need another degree to put on my wall. There you go.
I think the high priestess thing is actually, you've already gotten more practical value out of it than anyone with a PhD in English. Yeah, you've done something with that.
That's true. I actually performed a wedding ceremony.
We just lost our English PhD listeners.
Oh,
sorry about that.
Well, I was only a bachelor's. So
come back. To
it's
us.
Okay. They can't figure out how to use the app on their phone though, so they won't know how to delete us.
We all had to do it. All of us English majors. We did our stint at Starbucks. That's what happens. But yeah, so David is trying to preserve the innocence of Pleasantville at first, but then he winds up on, Jen's side of thinking because he sees that it's evolution and it's actually healthy for all the Pleasantville, citizens.
I don't think he sees that. I think he's going to get laid by that girl and he can't leave
once he
until
realizes
it
there's
happens.
something in it for him. Yeah. And plus he actually helps them with learning about their rights as citizens, and he helps them, just with their knowledge. Like, he helps fill in the books because Jen, ironically enough, even though she's the bringer of light, she's the dumb one between the two siblings.
Oh, and can I just say that we're not like being yay Lucifer here. This is literary stuff. So don't nobody.
What are you talking about?
Don't nobody. Don't know. Yeah.
Clan later.
Don't nobody write in. Put the caps back on your ink pots, okay? We're
Devil worshippers.
All right. We're just
gonna clang our axes together later.
Yeah. Yes.
My fireman's axe. That's what I'm gonna do. Aw. No, but everything's so pleasant in Pleasantville that even the basketball team, which David/Bud plays for, you can't miss a shot. To the point where Tobey Maguire just kicks the basketball off in one direction and he still scores because it bounces off the wall and ricochets everywhere.
Yeah, because it's the rules of the simulation.
Yep.
God, there's so much to think about.
He should have just pulled his shorts down, and then they would have been able to, short circuit the system, and everything would have been fine. If there's a wiener on the monitor, I swear to God.
Well, no, but that's the thing though. They don't urinate. They don't have sex. Do they have genitals? I mean, clearly clearly they do because they do have sex, but before that moment.
But I wonder if it's like the books. So you were talking about...
Yes.
I wonder if it's like the books. So the reason they have a joke where Jen, she's like, this place is so weird, David. The books don't even have anything. It's just cover and cover, and then they're empty on the middle. And he's like, what were you doing in a library? And she goes, I got lost. But so she's clearly the ditzy one between the two of them. But later on, one of the kids asks her about a book, and she's like, oh, I only remember the part up to the raft with Huck Finn. And then David's like, oh, yeah, I remember this story. So this is what happened next. And then the words start filling in. So I wonder if as Jen was turning Skip Martin on at Lover's Lane, he developed genitalia.
Well, because in that scene, he acts like, whoa, something's happening down there.
I may need to go home. I think I'm ill.
Yeah, and you're led to believe that it's because he's getting a boner for the first time. But maybe he actually didn't have genitals until that moment. Yeah.
That would be terrifying, right?
That would definitely be
yikes.
Everyone develops all the equipment downstairs.
Like, again, if you'd like to complain,
I can't believe my pick.
I think we just lost our PhD.
It's like going from G.I. Joe to Harry Reams.
Yes. Yeah.
For those of you who love 70s.
Or from G.I. Joe to that the doll that they hold up in court.
Yes. Touch.
Point on this white
Point
comedian.
to the doll where you've been touched.
So
go on.
No, it's okay. It sounds like you had a point to make.
No, I actually didn't. I was just killing dead air.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe they develop genitalia, like as they develop their curiosity. Who knows? Because the same thing happens with Betty, Mary Sue and Bud's mom.
Yeah, because she tells her mom to go masturbate.
Well, and that was when I
which really cemented the Lucifer moment for me, where I'm like,
so calmly, cool as a cucumber, explains the whole process to her.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't think if I don't see a scene where Bud is sitting around with William H. Macy going, well, Dad, what you do is,
yeah,
you know,
let me help you. It's Bill Macy. Come on. You could tell your friends.
I would have stayed in Pleasantville and I would have just neo'd the whole fucking place. I would have been like manifesting, you know, just I can literally shape this simulation with my mind. Okay.
It's a little bit more difficult and practical though in Pleasantville, because this is a great, for instance. So Jeff Daniels plays I can't remember his name.
Soda Jerk.
Jeff Daniels' best role ever.
Oh really?
I think.
Okay.
I think it's his best job ever. I thought he did.
I can see it.
I thought he was.
Well, especially back in the 90s, this is one of the few times you saw him in a serious role back
Yeah.
then. So I can see that.
But it tricks you though, because you think he's going to be just comic relief. You really get that impression
because he's such a simpleton.
And
yeah.
everything he says is like, you know, like I turned the lights off myself.
Well, I'm getting to that. So Bud comes into work late, and Jeff Daniels says rub the counter completely shiny, because he's like, oh, well, you were late for work, and that's never happened in Pleasantville before. So he's like, normally you come in, you open the blinds, I wipe down the counter, and then I do, like, he's going step by step through their process of how they open the soda shop. And he's like, you didn't come in, Bud, so I just kept wiping the counter. And he doesn't know how to function without those perfunctory steps.
Because he's an NPC.
Operating by. They're all sheep. They do the same exact thing every single day. But that's what I'm going back to your point with Neo. You can't just manifest stuff by thinking of it in every case. It'd be a lot more difficult and, you know, more of a practical process in Pleasantville, because Bud had to sit there and be like, oh, well, you don't have to wait on me to put the lettuce on the cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
You can grill them, put the cheese on, do the lettuce yourself. It's fine. And it's like a miracle to Jeff Daniels that he can accomplish this by himself.
Right.
So I think
well,
this
was all
longer.
written by writers, so he was waiting for the cue.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, he was stuck on that one line. If you're an actor, you're waiting for the cue line. You're going to keep rubbing.
Well,
Some actors more than others.
The best.
Wait a minute.
Well, I think the best way to look at it is it's like a video game like Skyrim or Fallout or something like that, where you have player characters, which are, you know, conscious entities interacting with a computer, and you have the NPCs, the non-player characters, and they are just running a routine, and they might have, you know, radiant AI or different things like that, but if you don't program the NPC to know that it should turn the light switch on, it will never come up with it on its own.
Well,
Right,
yeah,
right.
You know,
that's where some video games became so much more involved. Like even the simpler ones, like Mario on N64, on the main menu where you could stretch his face or like pull his ears. You remember that?
Yeah.
After a while, if you weren't playing the game, he would eventually fall asleep and sit there and snore
Yeah, well,
instead of just, you know, sit there and float.
but you have to think though, if this is a simulation, have you ever heard of a school of thought called solipsism?
No.
Okay. Very short version of it
Enlighten me,
is.
Lucifer.
Well, the very thanks. I have the beard. The extremely short, condensed version is, you know that you exist, right? Okay.
Or do I?
Well, no, that's the point. You know that you exist,
I think, therefore, I am.
but you don't know if I exist, and you don't know if he exists. The only one you know for a fact exists is you.
Oh, is that the joke where, does it apply to this field of thought where these kids were in a class and the professor puts a stool in front of all of them and says, prove to me that this stool doesn't exist, and one kid aced the test by writing, what stool? And walked out. Is that the same school of thought, or am I venturing into
I mean,
neighborhood?
yeah, I could see a
One
similarity.
chair, I can't remember.
No, but it's like, I know because I have thoughts. I'm aware of myself. But I don't know. You could be fake. You could be in my imagination. You could be a computer simulation. You could be any. I cannot ever actually know that you exist.
So you're telling me that I could be simple Rick, Just getting those endorphins.
You could be.
Serotonin fed
But the
into my
thing
brain
is-
to
but
make good wafer
yeah.
cookies.
But the thing is, I'm sitting here telling you I exist, and I don't know if you do. But you're just hearing me say that. You know you exist.
Right.
So to you, yeah.
I just watched Blade Runner, and they had memories programmed in, so they thought they existed because they were pre-programmed. So how do I know I really exist?
When you woke up this morning,
Yeah.
what if everything before you woke up this morning was fake and you just have the memories?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's what I was
everything.
Kind of like
thinking.
in Total Recall.
My head hurts.
We've got to watch Dark City because in Dark City gets deep into that stuff. But no, but that's why I like movies like this, because it really, like, what if this world is full of NPCs? What if like there are some people who are like actually player characters doing this life thing?
Just watch out for the deja vu, aka the glitch in the Matrix.
Well, but what if when you watch a baseball game on TV, none of those people are real?
It's a simulation.
They're just on your
It's a
TV
simulation.
screen. Yeah. They're just on a you don't know.
Well, we're about to get to Lucifer tempting.
We should
Skip
actually
Martin.
probably take a break. We are up to about half an hour.
All right,
We
sounds
can,
good.
Okay. So before you do that, we will be back in about 1 second,
if we still exist.
if we ever did. And we're back.
Yahoo!
Continuing to talk about Pleasantville, a movie I saw in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it since then.
Came out in '98, so you were really.
I was
young.
in college.
Yeah.
I was in college whenever it came out. So this is definitely, I know we would have gone
I
on a
was
Saturday.
10
We would
years
have gone
old.
to see this. Yeah. Actually, that doesn't really sound as, you were 10?
Yeah.
I was 18. Well,
Yeah, we've always been 10 years.
yeah, but it doesn't really sound as, I feel like, I don't know, the gulf widened maybe over time. I don't know.
I don't know. 10 years is not. I feel like the
age
age
appropriate.
difference is bigger when you're in school, because you're like a little elementary school kid while I'm in college. Okay, 15 years from now, this is not going to matter. Like,
Right.
Age difference, I think it's not. It becomes less relevant the older you get.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Very true. I agree.
Okay.
Shocking.
So I do want to actually ask everyone in the audience to name this cat. Right, take its
This
take its
one
hat
with
off.
my
Take
fireman's
its hat off. Okay, I am gonna bet that 90% of the one person who's watching this right now is gonna think that that's from the Lion King.
He is not. Should I spoil it?
Go ahead.
Uh,
Spoil it.
And he even has a tag. This is Oliver from Oliver and Company with Billy Joel. And this is a blast from the past. This is a kitty kitten from the 90s. And they actually, when you turn them over,
Oh, they make the sound.
they purr.
I
Yeah.
love the purring cats.
But yeah, the boys were both saying that this is Simba, and he's not. That's Oliver. He's a little kitten. And he's wearing my fireman's hat now.
Oh, you can't see. There we
Uh-oh,
go.
He's blinded. But anyway, so we've passed the point where Jen has corrupted most of Pleasantville. She starts the ripple with Skip,
Yes.
and then he tells all the b-ballers about sex, and that's exciting. And then they start missing their shots in basketball.
They get the yips.
Yeah.
Well, the movie doesn't pull any punches at all, because in the process of wakening everybody up, Jen tells her mom about sex,
About masturbation
and
as
then
well.
and then tells her and encourages her to go upstairs and masturbate.
Well, because Betty she's like, oh, well, your father would never do anything like that. And so instead of leaving her mom hanging, she's like, well, you can have fun without Dad,
Yeah, you can hook the J,
And then puts her in a bathtub and doesn't explain about faucets.
yeah, well, Yeah, I know. I was actually
gonna leave it at
I was actually thinking how funny it would be if in the next scene, the mom shows up and she's got like Band-Aids on her fingers.
I'm never eating
she's limping.
never eating anything you're cooking again, Mom. Gross.
Honey, where's my dinner? I can't get up.
God.
Now, Mom, this is called a cigarette.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
But I believe until the next Star Wars movie, which came out a year or so after this was the most computerized
Yes.
activity.
Yes, because it was shot completely in color. They actually had to go in and change everything.
Yeah, it had the most digital shots of a movie, and it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And
it holds up today.
Oh yeah, it holds
Very
up today. The acting in the movie is wonderful. The story is, I think, very deep. Like I said, it comes across. You kind of get tricked into thinking it's going to be a comedy you know, you almost think it's going to be like a Jim Carrey thing where he shows up in a TV show and it's wacky hijinks.
Yeah, it's
but
a fish out of water. Oh
it
God.
absolutely is a human-centered, you know, existential. I mean, when I watched this the other day, I went for a walk. I just kept thinking about it. It was a very existential kind of.
I picked a good one.
Oh no, yeah, I was.
Oh, you definitely did.
Yeah,
it was great.
And it's funny.
See, all the Tobey Maguire movies I pick are good ones.
What have you picked? What have you picked besides Wonder Boys?
Oh, that was all I can think of.
Pleasantville.
No, and
I'm on a roll.
So two. So yeah, so all two of them.
So far, I'm on a roll.
And let me ask you, what would be your third Tobey Maguire movie?
The Cider House Rules.
Yeah. God, that movie's depressing.
But it's fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Futurama got a great joke out of it.
Well, I even had a joke about that, which we've already passed in the movie, because eventually the town becomes so tumultuous with change that the Chamber of Commerce gets together and they agree that there's going to be rules around Pleasantville. And I actually wrote them down, but one of which is that you can't teach changist history in school. You have to stick with the old ways and what everybody's familiar with. And so, and Tobey Maguire's just reading them off one by one, and I was like, "Oh, Homer's reading the Cider House Rules in the soda shop." But
oh, you said Homer. I was.
That was
I know. I don't remember that episode of The Simpsons.
No, but Jeff Daniels, I think, has one of the biggest arcs of anybody of the other characters in the movie, because, and he has like a Rick and Morty moment, because later in the movie he comes back to Bud and he's like, "Oh yeah, well you left early and then I didn't know what to do," and then the next night it happens again and Bud gets frustrated with him. He's just like, "Just make the damn hamburgers," and he goes, "What's the point?" "So they can have their hamburgers," and it's like, "What do? You pass butter." "Oh my God." "Yeah, join the club, pal."
Well, yeah, but the good thing is that he then later on, he says, he's like, I closed the windows myself.
Yeah,
you know?
I did it all on my own, and you know what, Bud? I liked it.
Yeah,
like, it's a thrill for him. He loves it.
It's this ecstasy of actually starting to exist, you know, because it's like, is it I think therefore I am? You're thinking now. It's like he's bringing awareness into all of these, you know, nascent quasi-humans. It's a fascinating movie. It really is a fascinating movie.
Is that why after you're married you turn black and white again?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains that.
Yes, that's right. This was a dark brown.
How many cargo shorts do you own?
As many as my wife allows me.
I don't feel like taking a
Honey,
purse.
I'm home.
No, we allow y'all a strategic amount of cargo shorts because we don't want to take a purse to every event. So.
I gotcha.
It's strategy, mister. But another substantial matter to this is, at first Jennifer thinks that what is changing everyone is the, salacious aspects, like it, and then she's one of the last ones to turn into technicolor, and she's like, "David, what's wrong with me?" And he's like, "Nothing. I don't think it's just the sex, Jen. I think you go through a deeper change than that."
Yeah,
and it's true. Like, everybody has their own boiling point at different points throughout the story. Like for Skip, he didn't turn to color right away just because he had sex with Mary Sue. Everybody changes at different times, because you'd think that once David jumped on board with everybody changing and evolving, that he would turn to color too, but it took him even longer than Jen to turn to Technicolor. He did once he defended Betty from being attacked by a gang in an alleyway. Yeah. He punched somebody really hard, and normally he's the very quiet, nerdy.
He had his own self-awareness.
He's very withdrawn and nerdy, but like he fought somebody and defended his mom, and that's when he turns to color.
I love the choice they made to, when you have the black and white palette, 50s TV show black and white palette, and they did a great job of making it feel.
And the lighting was great.
Yeah, but the color palette is very Technicolor. It's
vibrant.
It's not like color today. It's like 1950s color in the cinema.
Right.
And I love the fact that, because even when they become multicolored, polychromatic, they still feel old because of that color palette. And then when he goes back to the real world, quote unquote, it's modern 1990s color palette.
Exactly.
And it's just
well done.
It really is. It's a very well done movie.
Yeah, and it's funny because
I couldn't figure out what that looks so much like something the Eucharist goes in. Was
compact.
Yeah, and she throws it down to him, and it glints. And when he catches it in his hand, I mean, it looks like a priest holding the Eucharist, And I was like, oh, what is that?
So deep with this movie, Jason.
No, I'm telling you, this movie, I really do think there's a tremendous amount to it. And you know what?
There's Doyle from Gilmore Girls making a random appearance. No, that's Doyle from Gilmore Girls. It's one
the
of the
actor
beloved
who played
characters.
Doyle?
Yes.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
He dated the most high-maintenance character on the show, Paris.
I know.
The editor of the Yale Daily News.
I
Come
know.
on. Why do I work with boys? Jeez.
I know. Hey, I've watched several episodes of Gilmore
because
Girls.
of Lauren Graham.
Yes, because of Lauren Graham. I wasn't listening.
Anyway. But
That's why I had Band-Aids on my fingers.
Well, and so here's a question that I had too. Was the mayor holding the most cards as far as everything turning to color? Because the city itself, the town of Pleasantville, doesn't turn to color until the mayor does.
He was the last bit, because remember, the people in the audience as Tobey Maguire was giving his speech, the people in the audience started.
They were popping.
They were turning color.
Yeah.
Popped out of the snow like daisies.
Which I didn't like the whole. That was one thing in the movie I wish they wouldn't have done with the no coloreds, and it was like, it's
Bringing up segregation.
well, it's like a commentary on actual. I don't care about actual. We're in this beautiful existential mystery,
Yeah, we don't need to bring that aspect
nitpick.
into it. Yeah. No, I kind of agree with you. It wasn't necessary, but
It was so on the nose.
yeah, like to just do the sign. It's like, okay, they're afraid of what they don't understand. Sure, we already got that vibe. You don't
Right.
need to smack us in the face with that point.
Right.
No, I see what you're saying.
That probably was in the second rewrite. They added that.
Yeah.
You know, the executives wanted that.
Well, the director, you know what other movie he directed? The only one that
I do know this. I'm blanking.
the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Same No, he's done other stuff,
No,
but
yeah.
he's done other
budget?
stuff. But as far as like what stuff you would know, and I
Right,
thought,
right.
what an interesting. But he wrote. The difference is he wrote this.
Yeah, I
You
saw
know,
that.
this was his
written,
vision
directed, and produced,
know.
maybe.
But like going back to your point about the color, Jason, I've even wrote down the speech because the mayor is admonishing Tobey Maguire and Jeff Daniels for painting a mural on the side of the police station that includes all of the book that were burned in town, because once the books start to fill in, they have and that's one of the turning points for Jen's character, is that Skip Martin sort of jumps on the bandwagon and he's burning books and he's like, Mary Sue, it's bad, let's get rid of the books, and she actually yells at him and kicks him and takes the book with her. She's like, this is the first book I've ever actually read, get away from me. And she starts seeing her own worth, which is great.
Right.
And she evolves as a person too, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
'Cause she starts out as the shallow one and ends up being the one with some substance. Whereas David doesn't change all that much. I mean, he's still sort of the same guy. He has more confidence, but he doesn't do a complete 180 the way she does.
He's been with a woman.
Yeah, he doesn't do a 180.
That's
but
huge.
What he comes up with.
He's old enough to vote now.
Yeah, he comes up with the realization that there's no right car. There's no right.
Yeah,
you take what you get and you make life good. You make what you have good.
Well,
That's
I
true.
do like how they did that in both worlds. So David is trying to help Betty because Betty turns color before her husband, and he has the mayor in their living room, and he's like, oh, I bet you'd love some of Betty's hors d'oeuvres, and he keeps calling for her over and over, and she's afraid to go out and meet him because she's in color now.
It's ashamed.
So there's actually a really tender moment.
Which
where
it was a
Tobey
beautiful
Maguire,
scene.
It was
I thought that
fantastic.
was great.
That was such a good scene.
And they bring that full circle. So Tobey Maguire sitting with his fictional mother Betty at the kitchen table, and he's covering her up and putting her back in black and white so she can go out and face her husband. And it's just so tender and well shot, and it's a beautiful moment, like you guys said. And then later, when you're talking about the right card, Jason, he's back in reality with his mom, who the whole premise is that David and Jen were excited to be home for the weekend by themselves because their mom was going out of town and she was meeting her boyfriend for the weekend. But she gets dumped. That's, what you assume. She comes home crying, and David just starts to clear her running makeup off of her face, and she's like, God, I used to have everything together. I used to be married to the right guy. We had the right car, and now I'm divorced from your dad. And he's like, Mom, there is no right guy.
Right. There's
no right car. There's no right anything. It's just life.
Yeah, and that scene dovetails so beautifully with the scene where he puts the makeup on.
It's a complete 180 because he goes from covering somebody up and concealing who they are to helping his mom realize who she should be.
But it's beautiful because in both of them, he's being so, and that's why I like the idea of him being sort of the God character to Jen's Lucifer, because you can tell he is looking at these people that he knows are not like him. They're not real in the way he is real. They're TV show people.
He's not like forcing them into a decision the way Jin was. He's sort of leading the horses.
He has so much compassion for them, you know, and it's like this could be a creation myth in a science fiction novel. It's like an episode of Star Trek. I think it's one of the reasons why I liked it. It felt like this is the sort of thing you would have gotten on a smaller scale in Twilight Zone.
Well, yeah, it was more like the Zone with the black and white, I thought.
The Zone.
Yeah.
Is that what the cool kids call it?
Well, none of the nerds like
with
myself.
The 50s glasses?
No, thank you.
But the thing is, though, 50s glasses look like 2020s glasses.
I know. They always make full circle.
I guarantee you, if you wore those glasses, no one would even hesitate. No one would think.
No, I mean, they look kind of like
they're
mine.
just
They're just
glasses.
shape.
Yeah.
Glasses are so in vogue now. When I was in 3rd grade, before glasses were cool and I needed them, I had these big, horn-rimmed glasses. And I even remember as a 3rd grader, I couldn't really understand what was being said to me, but I knew it wasn't great. My teacher looked at me when I came to school the first day with glasses. She goes, "Oh, they give your face a lot of character." And I was like, and years later, I was just like, "Oh, you suck."
Bitch.
Thanks, Mrs. H. That was really a boost to my
Holy
self-esteem.
crap, you ugly kid.
Oh, here, quick continuity. Look at his hair there. It is messed up.
It was messed up before he went to Pleasantville, so...
But wait, he will walk through this door without touching his head.
As far as you know, you don't see him.
No, he'll be perftly coiffed.
Coiffed?
Right, coiffed.
Did you just say coiffed?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
He
was
did
done
one
with
of
a that was
these.
done with a brush.
Continuity error.
Coiffed.
See, again, I even like stuff like that because it's...
Oh, it makes it real.
It makes it real.
It makes it
yeah.
real.
No, it does. But it's funny because isn't that the mom from Malcolm in the
It
Middle?
is.
It is.
She's
It
always the
is.
mom of like a messy household. What's going on with this actress? She gets shoehorned and typecast into these mom characters where
Well,
her
she's
life
good
just
at it.
isn't
But she
going right.
works a lot.
Yeah.
She's working. I mean, she's still working.
She works hard for the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where Toby comes full circle with his character, and he sits with his actual mother, and he's just like, yeah, life doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, because
And he's smiling. You see that look on his face.
Well, and because his whole thing, his arc is that he was idolizing Pleasantville to begin with. That was kind of his escapist, tact, because his mom, is single, she's dating, and he was sort of shoulding himself, where he was like, God, my parents should act like this. Like, I wish my parents and my life was more like this. That's why he escapes to Pleasantville and watches it. And the whole premise was that he was going to win a contest because he knows all the trivia.
Yeah, he
about
was
it.
going to win $1,000 or
grand.
something.
And a trip to
1,000.
the Pleasantville of your choice, anywhere in America, was the contest.
Yeah.
And then Don Knotts shows up and turns his world on its head. But
See, and Don Knotts is this sort of, because we'll see him again briefly.
And he's
See him
not
out
upset.
front of the
He's
house.
not upset.
No, he's
about
happy.
He's happy.
He's
Like,
happy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. Looks like because, regardless of what he was saying to them, you don't know what he actually wanted. And that smile on his face at the end is sort of...
then isn't Don Knotts God? Because he let them have their free will. And even though he was upset about some of their
How
decisions...
do you know their universe is real?
Oh, shut up, Jason.
Don Knotts,
There he goes.
Don Knotts might have been somebody from another universe who hopped into our universe.
I'm Doctor Who up in this mother.
And he's just been, because think about it, he's been looking for somebody like him,
No, I love the scene where it changes characters.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes,
now you can
Yeah.
actually see when they zoom in when one character gets up, because the actress kind of bounces a little bit.
Oh, I have not noticed that.
It's kind of cool.
So what he's talking about, hindsighters, is that Betty, the mom, is sitting on a park bench or a bus bench at the end, and she's sitting next to her husband. And she asks him, what's going to happen next? And he goes, I don't know. And the funny part of that is that he was so dependent upon his routine with her, is that he gets upset when he comes home one night and she's not home and his dinner is not on the table. He must say it like 17 times, "Where's my dinner?"
How do you interpret that scene?
Which
They're going to have a
end?
menage a trois a little later.
Okay,
that day.
that's a fair interpretation.
Beautiful.
My brain is fried.
That's the feminist interpretation of,
So
of
what
the story.
happened is that Betty's sitting next to her husband when he says he doesn't know what's going to happen. The camera pans to her and then pans back, and suddenly it's Jeff Daniels sitting next to her on the bench. So you don't really know if Betty winds up going back to her husband or staying with Jeff Daniels, because she does have an affair with him
She does.
through the movie.
She clearly
She leaves
she
her
is in
husband for
love.
Jeff Daniels.
She is in love with Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels is in love with her.
He paints her nude like one of his French girls.
She explicitly leaves William H. Macy.
Very strategically, but kindly. She's like, "I've left pack lunches for you for the week. Here's
firm.
a meatloaf in the oven."
It was final and firm.
Yeah, she made it very clear to him.
But then they have the scene where William H. Macy goes from black and white to color because he's looking at her and realizing how much he loves her.
He loves her, absolutely.
And
in
so
the courthouse, because Tobey Maguire is doing that whole speech where he's like, because they're arguing everything should be pleasant, and he goes, well, there are better things than just pleasant. They're silly, they're sexy, there's this, there's that, and he's got a really great speech about it. And he looks at his dad, he's like, Dad, look up at Mom right now. Isn't she just as beautiful as the first day that you saw her? Aww. And that's when William H. Macy turns into color. Yeah. And so that's where his boiling point happens. But everybody changes for different reasons. But so you wonder if because he's changed, will she stay with him or is she going to stick with Jeff Daniels?
And that's again the whole like leaving Eden thing, because now it's a real congratulations, you have a real world problem.
It gets complicated.
It's complicated.
Everyone has choices now, and it's all from that first tumultuous question that Reese Witherspoon asked in class. Yeah, what's outside of Pleasantville?
Right.
Because she's the first one that rocks the boat in every sense of the word, not just like the sex and introducing people to masturbation, but she's like, yeah, what's at the end of Main Street? Yeah, just a simple question like that rocked the entire classroom. They're like, oh, Mary Sue, don't be silly. The end of Main Street is just the beginning again.
Well, see, and that's what's great too, because they're saying specifically that it's if you go out here, you come back where you started, which is exactly what would happen in our universe. You can't leave it. If you keep going in a straight line, you're just going to come back to where you were.
Yeah.
Because space is curved. So it's like, it's a brilliant.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yeah, it was really brilliant. Well written, well acted, well directed.
Thought provoking.
Yeah, it was.
We're having a short episode because all of us liked it so much. There's no contention.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I had seen it. I did not see it back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this was your first time
This
seeing
is my first time. So after Seinfeld, I'm going to be right in the middle of the road. But as I said, and I say time and time again, I am a better person because I know you too. Thank you very much for doing that for me.
Mm-hmm. But I do have to make one silly point. This won an award for best, what's it called when somebody covers? It's like a cover for a song. You know who's singing at the end across the universe?
Yeah, it's
Randy Newman.
No, it's Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
I totally. Yeah, I had this.
The movie won an award for that.
Yeah, I had this song on my computer. I had an MP3 of it that I probably got from Napster.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Yes, you did.
I'm pretty sure I got it from Napster. Yeah, that was the 90s were the age of many things, including massive digital piracy.
Yes.
Oh my.
I'm gonna go ahead and start the Alf Seinfeld.
Well, Mr. Brown already did.
Oh, okay. Well,
straight five since he's never seen it before.
First time, but loved it.
Kick it off, Jason.
I am gonna say without hyperbole, it gets a 10, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
I've seen the movie before. I saw it in the theater, but it was a movie. It was good.
Oh, it changed for you.
Massively.
You've turned to color since then.
You're much more mature.
I think that's it. At the time, there was no way. Yes. Yeah. Hey, that sounds like a good idea.
There goes the tree.
Holy crap! I've got genitals now.
We forgot because we
the tree.
Tree. So when Betty does learn how to pleasure herself, thanks to Mary Sue, Tobey Maguire's panicking because it's the first fire ever in Pleasantville, and that doesn't occur to him. He doesn't put two and two together. He starts screaming fire, and he even has to run across town. He runs into the station, and he's yelling fire the entire time. And the boys are just sitting around at the fire station playing cards, and he's like, fire! Fire! Come on,
That's
fire!
a great scene.
And then finally, cat, and they jump out of their seats and they're
move.
ready to go. And he actually even has to pull the fireman's hose out of the truck and connect it to.
I was wondering what that was for.
I was thinking that he was going to tell the firemen that the cat was in the tree on fire, thus prompting them to panic and put the fire out. That's where I thought
they didn't even know how to use the
hose. I didn't know that. Yeah,
he did it. He showed them how, and even one of them goes, "Oh, so that's what this thing is for." He's just spraying the flames with the water.
I know.
Yeah,
it was such a great moment.
And then he won an award for being most innovative in town.
Yeah.
Yes, but then people started being suspicious of him because they were like, and some people started admiring him. Like the kids were like, "Hey, Bud, how'd you know about the fire?" And so that's when they start asking him. He becomes their impromptu leader because Jen can't remember the stories in the books, and they're like, "But Bud, have you read this book? And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember how the rest of it goes. And so they start listening to him, and he becomes kind of their leader.
But I just love when that girl brings him cookies, and in the episode, they're Whitey's cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the show.
He's like, yeah, in the show, oh, no, those are Whitey's cookies. No, they're your cookies.
No, you made those for Whitey. No, I made them for you.
And then she just kind of, okay, maybe you did make them for me.
Just like pushes herself up against it. And she's
when someone
insistent.
asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
And she, like, that's a turnaround for him, too, because, like you said, Mr. Brown, when he realizes that he can get laid, he's, like, sprinting down the street to go ask her out.
I just love, too, that it's so explicitly cookies. Like, I want you to take my cookies.
Taste your cookies, bud. And
I will trade you a banana for my cookies. Would you like to put a banana in my pie?
Oh.
Also, I have this box. Do you have a tool you would like to place in here?
Oh, God.
10.
But even Don Knotts says something like that. It's not as risque as how you phrased it, but he's like, those are Whitey's cookies, bud. He's screaming at him through the television screen. But,
Andy, we got to nip this in the bud.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale.
I cannot do it. Don Knotts.
You got to nip this in the bud. That's as close as I can get. But anyway, Alf to Seinfeld for me. So since I was younger when this movie came out, I wouldn't have seen it in theaters, but I probably saw it in my early teens when it came out on VHS. And I didn't get a lot of the more subtle jokes about, like, I didn't understand the masturbation aspects, like all the sexual undertones. I didn't get any of that. So, Jason, I got to go with you on this one. I'm going to give it a pretty high grade. I have to say, I'm going to give it a nice 9.5. Like, not because there are questions that aren't answered, but some of the stuff I'm just like, okay, once again, to what end? Did Don Knotts go in with a mission? Did he not? Does it really matter? I guess not.
Yeah.
But it ultimately doesn't matter. But I'm going to give it a 9.5 because this movie definitely improved for me. I liked it from the beginning. I enjoyed all the beautiful colors, the black and white, the shift, the change, some of the jokes that I did get. But yeah, 9.5 for me.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I remember there was a glorious time in my life when I would regularly go to the movie theater, and then
what?
And then I would leave the theater, and for the rest of the day, I would be thinking about the movie that I had just seen. There was just a good movie stuck with you, and.
Well, you ruminated on it because you weren't, in theory, you weren't going to go see it again because movies did cost money. They weren't as expensive as they are.
They were like $3.50.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
unless you went to the dollar cinema.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
That's right.
But it's kind
They
of...
showed Faces of Death there.
But we talked about this before. Movies used to be just like a one-shot thing. You had to really invest and pay attention while you were watching it because you didn't really know that it was going to wind up on VHS or DVD.
There was no texting while you were watching movies back then.
No, absolutely. We didn't even have cell phones back then.
I disagree. I think that it's literally the quality of the writing. I think it's the movies themselves.
I agree because, like, you see
there's
Star
nothing,
Wars for the first time. You're going to go see it more than once. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing playing at. We looked, because David was off school for a few days.
Lucky bastard.
And it was like, oh, well, go see a movie. Nothing. There's literally nothing.
I couldn't name a single movie that's out right now, honestly.
And then I went to Fathom Events, and we got to buy the Smokey and the Bandit tickets. They're going to be showing it in the theater in May.
I'm in.
But
you're the one who's out of town.
Yeah, it's the end of May, though.
Okay.
But they are doing one night only in theater, The Godfather.
Oh.
But think about it. It's like I'm looking for movies to go see, and then it's like you see this movie from the 70s, and you realize, oh my God.
Well, and a lot of it is the nostalgia of movies that you've never seen in theaters. For instance,
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, Smokey
Never seen that in the theater.
I didn't see that in theaters. I was heartbroken a couple of years back when Carrie Elways was in town for a screening of The Princess Bride. It was right as COVID hit, I think, or somebody got sick, or I don't know. It got canceled, and I was like, no, I've never seen Princess. It was a double whammy because I didn't get to see Carrie, and I didn't get to see Princess Bride on the silver screen.
Yeah.
It was a bummer. But it's mostly movies that I've cherished my entire life that I would love to see on a big screen. So, like you said, Smokey and the Bandit, The Godfather.
Yeah. Which I love that Fathom Events does this. They just randomly just find some movie and they do, we're going to have Casablanca in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
I've never seen Casablanca, so I'd love for my first experience of Casablanca to be in the theater.
That would be
cool.
Yeah, we need to do that one of these days. But we're going to have to pick something bad next because we picked a movie we like. We all liked it. Whose turn is it next?
I'm gonna have to go through the analogs. Who picked Embryo? You? That was the
yes,
one we
I picked Embryo.
Latest, but
yes.
then what did we record most recently?
No, it was Embryo.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was Embryo.
Turn,
so it's your turn.
So
camera to Adam, please.
No!
He hates making decisions.
I do.
Hindsighters.
I'm so scared they'll like my movie.
And then we won't have anything to talk about.
That's right.
But yeah, so Hindsighters.
All right.
We appreciate
Yeah,
you.
we'll come up with something.
Oh, we always do. But in the meantime, we can't promise because life throws what it will at you, but we hope to be back without as much of a gap between recordings next week. That's what we're shooting for. So we appreciate you joining us for your drive time, your listening time, your black and white time, your technicolor time. We don't really care what kind of time. You're rescuing a cat from a tree time. This has been Darth, Adam, and Jason with Hindsight, and good night.